Thank you for tuning into Podkast Hindsight. I and my friend here are your hosts, Kyle and Cris. Thank you for joining. We're going to start
I'm
meditation.
Kyle and he's Cris.
No, he's Cris and I'm Kyle.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you positive?
I am positive.
Alright, because I'm not. I'm very confused as to who I am today.
I tested negative, but I am positive that I am Kyle. Alright. What do you want to get into today? What are we going to be talking about, Cris?
I honestly would like to talk about the laws of physics.
Yeah.
And how I feel it's a subject that's very important for everyone to really learn about. And I feel like
everybody
don't talk about physics enough, man.
Everybody knows the main law of physics is that if your armor gets shitty, repaint it, right? That's the first law of physics.
I feel like that's the law of aesthetic right there.
The law of aesthetics.
But yeah, we're gonna jump right in today because we got. I want to say this now to get people hyped up, but we're gonna jump into this one. We might be a little quick because we're working on another episode for y'all because it's. I feel like we could briefly touch the Star Wars news at the end of this, but Marvel yesterday just unloaded, was just like and it just orgasmed everywhere. All of them like
everybody was pretty happy about it too. That's the scary
the general consensus was everyone's happy. But anyways, we are
going
to talk about
money.
Take my money. It's true, but we're gonna jump into it. We are going to talk about Mandalorian Chapter 15, A Crisis of Faith. Was that the actual name of it? No, it's called The Believer.
The Believer.
This lied to me. Sorry, I have a recap pulled up from Decider, and it said Chapter 15 recap, A Crisis of Faith, and I was like, no, that's not it. But it's called The Believer. It was a really, really good episode, and we're gonna warn you now. We're gonna just jump right into it. There are gonna be spoilers, and we have to say this every week. If for some reason you haven't watched it and you're tuning into this podcast, you're doing yourself a great injustice because we about to ruin everything for you right there.
Yes.
But
so spoilers. Go watch it and come right back. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and in the comments below, join the conversation. Tell us if we're wrong. Tell us if we're right. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you didn't like. Tell us how you like our backdrops. Tell us if you like Mexican Batman. Tell if you like...
Tell us what your favorite law of physics is.
Yeah, your favorite law of physics. I agree. I like that a lot, actually. Tell me what your favorite law of physics is.
I want to save that for a future episode. I feel like people are here more tuned in for Mandalorian. But last week, actually, Kyle, you mentioned it. You were like, "What the fuck is the Carthon chop fields?" And we saw that immediately at the beginning of the episode. And it's this giant scrapyard of old Imperial, like busted up TIE fighters and cruisers and stuff. And we see our boy. What's his name? Migs Mayfield,
yep.
Who is played by Bill Burr. I really like his character, by the way. He's just sitting there, just hacking away, serving his hard time because of his actions in the episode of season 1. And excuse me, Kyle, what did you think about that start, man?
Honestly, dude, so this character got a huge upgrade from the last time we saw him, just based on like the actor alone. Like he really pulled it out this time, and from the start, I think he did a pretty good job with the interaction with the robot, and then his he's still a prisoner even after the shackles come off, and he knows it. And so does the robot, and so does Cara Dune, and you feel that throughout the whole episode.
Yeah. I love that part where Cara Dune's just like, yeah, come with me. And he's just sitting there questioning it. And the robot is really, passive and, really chill. But then he's just like, yeah, you have 3 seconds to go with Dune. And then he turns the thing on. And I was just like, wow, he's threatening him. I like that. I like that whole intro scene right there. That was a really good time. But it leads up. We see first of all, one more time, R.I.P. Razor Crest.
Oh,
it was a big loss. But we see our second favorite. Honestly, it's my first favorite starship, the Slave One.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
you got my attention. Let's talk about the Slave One.
Yeah,
so it's beaten glory.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great for how many years it's been passed. But out of the Slave One, we see a few of recognizable characters. Fennec was one of them, and the other one was, of course, our boy Boba Fett. And so I sent this to you in a text. I reacted to it during the beginning of the episode. I have mixed feelings about his armor.
Yeah.
Um,
You tell me what you think about it, and then I'll tell you what I think about it, and then we'll mix our ideas, and we'll tell everybody what we think about it together.
So I looked at a picture and I'm actually a little bit happier after looking at the close-up picture. But part of the reason why I liked the armor originally was because of how just busted up and worn out it was. Because you can see the history there of like how old this armor is. It survived being in a Rancor and just all of that lore behind it. But Fett walks out with a nice shiny new paint job, which it looks really nice. It does look nice to see the armor restore to its glory. But I thought at first from a far glance, like he cleaned it up and like fixed it up. But no, there's still the dent in the forehead. I think there's like another blaster like wound or whatever you want to call it in the bottom. So I respect that they at least kept the damage in there because it's like the armor has a story behind it. And painting it kind of, at least in my mind, erases that history behind it.
Well, it doesn't, in my eyes, because this armor was a set that belonged to his father, Jango Fett, before him, which was originally silver and blue. Boba Fett's color pattern that he chose was, green, red, and yellow, and, as Rasta as that is, he wanted to stick with it, and, and I think that this is, like, a new rebirth for Boba Fett, even, in his own mind, too. He's like, I'm back, motherfuckers, and that's... he's giving you like a fresh look. He's like, you want something to be scared of? You like a guy? Are you scared of a guy who's wearing torn up shoes or a guy with shiny boots?
Yeah. I agree with that, dude. I agree with that. It was nice. He does. I mean, I'm with you. I love his new aesthetic. I love the black robe that his armor is like over. Like that's a real like. It's rugged, dog. Like it looks like an intimidating Fett. Like even when he takes the helmet off, seeing how battle scarred and worn out he is, like he looks like a bamf, dude, a badass motherfucker, man. Yeah, I cannot deny that 100%.
I love that he still like is so willing to just take the helmet off and stand there in just his armor, and it's a cool visual because we always see him with the helmet on, on all the time. So
I like that. I like that a lot, but. Sorry, we're like fanboying out.
No, we'll keep going. We'll keep pushing because we have a short podcast today.
Yeah, we got to keep pushing. But what I will say, and I don't know if I mentioned last time, but Boba Fett was a character that as a child he was always hyped up, but I never understood why. And they finally gave him a real purpose. Like now I'm just like, all right, he has lore. He there's a reason why he's badass now. Whereas before I was just like, he was just a dude in cooling armor. But yeah, after that, we also see coming out this late, like at first, God, I'm blanking out his name. Mayfield is kind of just chilling there. He's like, who the fuck are you people? Why are you bothering me? And then of course, Mando walks out and he's like panicking. He's like, are you here to kill me? Are you here to finish the job? Like that was good. Yeah. The last time they saw each other, that did not end so well. So no. That was cool, dude. They end up popping in. He pitches the mission to him. He's just like, we need your expertise for
he doesn't pitch it. He's like, get on this.
Yeah.
He knows about like imperial coding. He knows about like the passcodes and how that shit works.
Yeah.
He's got that knowledge and it's very valuable.
Yeah.
And then he says, so I do this for you and I'm free, right? She's like, that's not how this works. Again, solidifying the fact that you're still in our servitude right now.
Yeah, she's just like, you get a better view. That was my favorite part that she said that to him. She's like, you get a better view.
Yeah, so once she says that, we got to see the inside of Slave One and how it rotates in the cabin whenever the actual ship rotates, which I've always imagined, and I don't know if it's ever been shown, but that was really cool as well. So just to
which was that. So that was, I like that. That was rad, dude.
Yeah. So they know about a location where they can get this information from, and they're going to sneak in by stealing a freight vehicle of rhodium. Rhodium?
Yeah. I believe it's called rhodium. Yeah, they were on they went to it's a mining facility on a planet called Morak, and I remember when he first mentions Morak, Din is like, there's nothing on there, and he's like, yeah, but there's actually a Imperial mining facility over there.
Well, they didn't know they were going to get attacked by pirates once they assumed that, I don't think. Or else they probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
All the vehicles in front of them started getting blown up. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that scene for a minute, though, because it was a great setup, right? So obviously they mentioned how, like, the minute you walk in there, there's facial scans, there's bio scans, so they're gonna know who you are. And obviously, Cara Dune and Fennec are both wanted, so they couldn't go in with him. And Mayfield's just like, yo, dog, you can't come with me either, because like you have this Mandalorian army they're gonna rescue. And I love Boba Fett was just like, yeah, I'd go, but I kind of have a familiar face. And it's like, yeah, we get it. He looks like every other fucking clone trooper from back in the day. Yeah, but this was big, dude. He convinced the Mandalorian, and Din was just like, let's fucking do it. Din took off his armor and put on that rusty, old, nasty, I don't know what kind of stormtrooper type that was, but he put on the armor, dude.
Yeah, so
that
was just some sort of transport, guy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Less armor. He obviously, when he was fighting the pirates, was not used to having that kind of armor, because he just let himself get hit at first and was like, oh, son of a bitch.
He's like, this don't work like Beskar.
This plastoid armor is garbage. And that's what it is, man. So, oh my god. But it was interesting. The conversation that took place between him and Miggs during that, I honestly think was one of the... it was not him convincing him. It was him reassuring the Mandalorian of things that he's already been feeling. Like, is it about showing his face? Is it really? And what's going to happen? Who's going to smite him? You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? Is he no longer a Mandalorian? No, because he's met all these other Mandalorians, including Boba Fett, who takes their mask off, their helmet off, if needed. He says, you're just like me, man. Like, we're all the same. Like, why live,
I like that scene a lot, because the way, so obviously the other Mandalorians aren't like this, but the way the branch of Mandalorian that Din comes from, it's very culty, very religious. So I feel like that moment right there is like somebody trying to be like, questioning their relationship with God, that sort of thing. It's like, are you really afraid to watch porn because you think an old white dude's watching you and he's gonna send you to hell? Or are you just making it hard on yourself? So it was like, I like that. He's just telling me, he's like, what are you really keeping the helmet on for? And during that speech too, he tells them that's like, we all have our code, we all have our values.
Yeah.
But there are going to be times, given the situation, given the circumstances, where we might have to realign those. And you said it best, dude. Din's been questioning that for a long time now, and this was kind of the culmination of that. And we'll mention why this was like the big grand piece right there. But no, that whole chase scene was fucking wild, dude.
That was actually a huge part, like a huge section of the thing, the whole episode. So we should actually talk about it. Where do these pirates keep coming from, bro? They kept coming. We were like, oh, they're done. 4 more. But you get to see him and his raw combat ability based off of the fact that he didn't have any of his weapons. He ran out of ammo. And so that I don't know how it works in Star Wars. Comment in the chat below, conversation. Let's talk about it. I think they're like little crystals that run out inside of the guns that shoot the little lasers, and eventually they'll crack or burn out and they have to be replaced. I don't know, but I think that's what it is.
So the way they've been interpreted in the games is it doesn't seem like they run it. This is based off of the games though, but it doesn't seem like they run out of ammo. They overheat. And they have in the games at least, but once again, we don't know how accurate the games are. But in the games they overheat, and they have a period of time where you can't fire anymore until that thing finally resets on the charge. But dude, he ran out of it. My favorite part was he threw the gun at the guy.
Yeah, he was like
fucking douche.
It's basically useless at that point.
Yeah. But I liked it because we saw Fett in the last episode go ape shit with the staff, but I think for the most part with Din, we've seen him use a lot of his blaster, I forget the name of those missiles that he fires off over there. We've seen him do, I think, a little bit of close quarters fist combat, but for the most part, we haven't even seen him use that Beskar speed either. But for the most part, we've never really seen him do any intensive hand-to-hand combat, and we saw right there, dude can hold his own.
Yeah, he's still powerful.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that whole, like I said, that whole scene was wild.
Why did he took the Miggs took his helmet off during it, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm sure it gets in your way and stuff, and he obviously doesn't like wearing the helmet because he even got out of the vehicle, and like part of the issue was, oh, dude, he recognizes me, like he might recognize me. You know what I'm talking about? Where why did he not bring the helmet with him? Put it back on. People don't need to know who you are.
Yeah, I don't know. So he took the helmet off. He complained about like being uncomfortable, which was all I knew was the minute he took his helmet off and he had that conversation, we were gonna see Din take off his helmet by the end of it. But just to finish up that entire sequence, pirates keep. Yeah, no, you're good, dog. This is a lot of shit going on. But yeah, you see the pirates coming nonstop. You see it almost getting blown the fuck up, and all these other transports are getting blown up. And by the end of it, they finally clear it. They're finally safe. And the reason why I like this scene a lot was you see, I don't know if humanize is the word, but every time you think about the stormtroopers and the Empire, you always think evil, but you get this moment where you're seeing them like celebrating and hyped and excited, like, yeah, they made it, woo, like it's cool. Like they're still people. There's still people with lives, and we're gonna mention the tie-in soon, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 did a good job of reminding everyone that while we picture them as being evil, at the time they're doing what they feel they're supposed to do. They're following orders. Right. They're doing what they can to get by. So they are people. We always see it as black and white, good versus evil. But at the end of the day, especially in Battlefront 2, we're shown that these people have much more complex lives than we're really led on to.
That and TC-113 or whatever is not going to have any kind of idea of what the big major plan is if he's just a random ass like white stormtrooper. He's just a dude trying to get by in the galaxy, just like everybody else. Something that you reminded me, the pirates, right? They were blowing it up. They weren't stealing it. So I'm wondering if maybe they were like indigenous people, and maybe they felt bad having to take them out so that they could survive to do what they needed to do. You know what I mean? Were they indigenous people or were they pirates?
I don't know. No, he mentions they're pirates. This is where the conflict comes.
But they didn't
at the very beginning.
They were fighting the Empire, which is like what they want to do, but they couldn't do it. They had to fight back against the people who would have been helping them normally. So there was a huge...
No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think they assumed they were pirates at first. But then as it progressed, they really... Because one thing, remember at the start, when they start pushing in the transport, they have that moment where they slow down in town, and they mention how there's those like people, they're like, yeah, they just see us. Like, they don't see Empire, Imperial, Rebel, anything like that. It's like, to us, they just see people, encroaching on their territory, trying to take their land. So... The thing is, all those people looked very humanoid-like. None of them looked alien. So that's why the pirates confused me, because they look nothing like the people that were first shown at the beginning of that scene.
I'm curious why they were so mad about the rhodium, like the pirates or whatever. The pirates.
Yeah, well, rhodium, I think we find out rhodium can... They say it later on, but I guess it can build or fuel like the star. It's an important resource. That's all I could come from it.
It's extremely important, I'm sure. Yeah. It's explosive as hell. But they weren't trying to steal it. Again, they were.
Yeah, they were trying to destroy it. You're right. Yeah. You're right. That was an interesting observation. I wonder if we're ever gonna get anything out of it. That was crazy.
I don't know. That had me thinking a lot though, because I was like, man, that's against Mando's code, is what he was doing, but he had to do it to survive himself and to save the child.
Yeah.
And then so we get to the scene with the officer after we've kind of. They got there. We talked about how he took his mask off, and they're standing there and they're looking at this information terminal. Going like, all right, well, who's going to do it? He goes, oh, man, that's one of my old platoon leaders. He recognized me. Well, he didn't recognize him, but he also, I think, was kind of really, really trying to push it to make Mando take his helmet off. And I kind of felt that even by him not bringing his helmet along, he was like, oh, I can make an excuse and make Mando take it off. You know what I'm saying?
I can get where you're coming from with that. I don't personally see it that way, so... We see him walk in, like, he's confident at first. He's, like, 100% ready to do the deed. But then he sees this guy, and he freaks out. And the reason why I don't think it was intentional to him is we learn, after that scene progresses, is that was, I have the thing up, this was an event in Star Wars Battlefront 2, but Operation Cinder. Yep. That guy was a part of Operation Cinder, and, like, that struck a bad chord in him. But, well, we'll get into that right after this sequence, which was important. But he freaks out. He's like, no, I can't do it. Like, he might recognize me. Like, we gotta abort the mission. And this is where Mando is just like,
can't do it, man. Not
fuck
aborting
it.
it.
We gotta do it. And he takes off his helmet, bro.
Yep.
I lost it, dude. He took off his fucking helmet.
Very little hesitation. It was almost as if he was like, you know, like he was ready to do it before he got out of the vehicle. He was preparing. When he was sitting there like stiff as hell in the vehicle, I think he knew at that point that he may have to take his helmet off in front of people.
Yeah.
Now, it got intense. We thought that officer was about to like call him out, get on him, and then Miggs comes up and saves his ass. He's like, "Oh, dude, he was in a pressurized chamber or whatever he said."
Yeah.
Like
he's a little slow now.
Yeah, he's a little slow. Has a hard time hearing. You got to talk louder. He's like, "What is your designation?" I'm a trooper. I'm a transport trooper. And he's like,
"What is your number?"
No, what is your TC number? That was funny, but he saved it with his imperial knowledge, the knowledge he had from being a part of the Empire. So and then you can tell that he's got a deep hate for a lot of these guys, and he probably didn't expect to want to blow all these guys up, but I think he also saw it as an opportunity to get away with it because he knew Mando was there, he knew Mando was going to back him up, and he was able to go, hey, none of them saw your face. So after they kind of got through that little episode there, with the...
Wait,
am I getting too far ahead?
Yeah, you're fast forwarding a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
There's some important... No, you're good. There's some important stuff that goes down right in that scene. So the name of the officer is Valen Hess. Yeah. And at first, we're sitting there, we're thinking like, oh, fuck, dude, he's about to get fucked. And then this is the part where I freaked out. It's like, it's going to go balls to the walls. He's like, you guys are the only transport that made it back out of all of these transports. I'm like, oh, dude, he's about to fucking, like, figure out. Then he puts his arms around him. He's like, let's have a drink. And I was like, oh, oof, oof. So this was a big scene, right? So they're sitting there.
I immediately hate
having the drink. Yeah. Yeah, the dude looks like a fucking tool, but so he's sitting there and they're talking like, what are we going to make a toast to? What's your home planet? And then Miggs brings up Operation Cinder. And if you've played Star Wars, this is why I'm loving Mandalorian. I'm loving the direction Star Wars is going because there's so much lore, dog. There's so much like expanded material that they're drawing from now that's just got me so friggin' hype. But Operation Cinder, when you play Battlefront 2, it happens right after the fall of... Hold on, I have the notes right here. I made sure. It happens right after the Battle of Endor, where technically the Empire... the Emperor dies, and I like the way the article explains it, but it's like, in case of Emperor death, break glass. And Operation Cinder was behind the glass, and pretty much they just start purging planets. They just start nuking planets. And when you play Battlefront 2, it's really tragic because is it Versio? What's her first name? Iden Versio. Like, she's supposed to take part in it, and she questions them. She's like sitting there. She's like, nah, dude, I'm not going to do this. And she gets in trouble for like going against the Empire. Like, no, you're a defector, this and that. So apparently Miggs was at one of the Operation Cinder bombings, and his officer was this guy, and we kind of see him like, you have the fucking like fucked up mentality where Valen Hess is like saying like, it was such a sad thing, but all of those people that died are heroes of the Empire and they died for the right reason. And then Mayfield is like, but did they really though?
Was it good for them?
Yeah, he's like, was it actually good for them? And he's like, hey, well, you and me survived. And he's kind of sitting there with this, like, bad blood where he's just like, dude, no, dude, what you see it in Battlefront 2. You start to see it now. There's a lot of people that thought they were fighting for the right side, and they're questioning their allegiance now. And this is when shit gets wild, dog. Like, they have the exchange, and he's sitting there, just pulls out the blaster and fucking zaps him, bro.
No time at all. He didn't even see it coming, bro. Now, what I really like about Mick's character in this setting was that he had a deep disdain for the Empire. And I could kind of relate to him in some ways because when I was in the Navy, it's not that the Navy or the United States Navy or United States military is bad. It's just that you are still just a number and you're not really cared about as much as they might you might think you are. You're no hero. Whatever happens to you, like you might only be a hero to one or two people if you ever get the opportunity, but ultimately you're just a pawn in a game who's following orders, and that's how I feel very, very much. And when he was saying that stuff, I was like, man, this guy, he doesn't deserve to be in prison. Like he's fighting for the things that he believes are best for him. Another man trying to make his way through a galaxy. So I started to love his character, actually.
Yeah, he has a really good redemption arc, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I still loved him a lot in the first episode, but you could tell he was very self-centered, in it for himself. He was taking advantage of his talents to pretty much like rob people and stuff like that. I'm like distracted by you, Kyle. What are you doing?
Okay.
Ash is actually working on our
preview JPEG
for the next podcast that we're gonna film in like 20 minutes.
Oh man, I love it. You've seen some behind the scenes work in the process, but yeah, no, like I love that scene. That scene was wild. That scene was great. All hell starts to break loose and stuff. And man, can we talk about how essentially we are constantly reminded, maybe like every other episode, how trash stormtroopers are, dude. Because they just get completely, utterly destroyed in that entire sequence that goes down.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You get to see just how shitty their armor is. It's a cheap plastoid armor that even the Mandalorian was like, oh, it's fine, I have this armor on. And then he's like, whoa! Oh, damn, I'm getting my ass kicked. I can't rely on this. Most of these stormtroopers probably never even seen combat, so they're like, oh, yeah, I'll be fine, I got my armor on. And then they really, you know what I mean? So not all combat, not everybody in the military is trained very well in combat. So I'm just saying that most stormtroopers probably are going to be shit, They're probably going to be caught off guard. Their hands are probably shaking. They're probably worried about getting home to their fucking moms, dads, and wives too. So goddamn, stormtroopers. And they got those buckets on their heads, man. You ever wear one of those things? I have. You can't see. Well,
he mentions it. Remember in the transport scene, like that's the first thing Mick says. He takes it off. He's like, I can't see anything in this. And he takes it off and he tells Din, he's like, how do you use these things? How do you see anything? So that's already like, there you go. That's your argument right there. Like he defends it. He's just like, bro, I couldn't see shit in this. So they're kind of like dealt the shitty. I've hit a point where I actually genuinely feel bad for stormtroopers because they're just kind of there. They're just kind of trying to follow orders. Like I can picture like them seeing like an enlistment thing, and they're just like, "Yeah, come join the Empire. We'll take you to different places." And they're probably like picture like you get health benefits and the pay is good and this and that. So like, fuck it, I'll do it. Then when they finally show up for the job, they're like,
they get blown up by rebels every other week.
But yeah, so the escape scene was great.
Yeah.
We see two badass sharpshooters, dog.
Yeah, that was
Fennec and Cara, dude, and that was some
out.
Spicy action, yeah.
Now it was actually really realistic. They didn't have hordes of stormtroopers like swarming them suddenly. It was a place of chill, a place of calm. It was a place where they were all able to relax, and then all of a sudden from the inside, pa 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 pa, and so they weren't expecting it, so they didn't get a huge backlash, which was actually extremely realistic and very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I love that whole escape sequence. They cleared the cannons out. They did everything, and then of course, we see our boy Boba Fett swooping in with the Slave One, dog. I love that, man. That ship's iconic, and I think it sucks, but I think at the end of the day, the Razor Crest had to be destroyed in order for the spotlight to be given to this ship and to really, because you can't have two badass ships. That's the conclusion I've come up to.
This show ain't big enough for two big ships.
Yeah, this show ain't big enough for two awesome ships. I love the memes, by the way. Did you see the Lego box that got edited? It's like Razor Crest Lego set 1,000 pieces, and instead of the finished Razor Crest, it's just all the Lego pieces just like busted.
Yeah, and then there was a whole article about the Razor Crest toy funding from Hasbro, and it was like I don't remember, like $50,000 in funding or something like that, and it's just a bunch of collectors wanted Razor Crest toys, and then they blew the Razor Crest up, and people were like, "What the fuck?"
I feel so bad for that shit, man. It's been through so much.
Most people will probably still buy it, though.
Oh yeah, of course. But rescue mission happens. They finally land. Everything's calm, and Mayfield accepts. He like walks up and he puts his hands like, "All right, I'm ready to be arrested again." Now here's here's where I'm kind of bummed out, and I want to hear what you have to say. But we noticed Cara Dune, like, remember when he takes that shot and blows up the God, I'm already forgetting the name. Yeah, he blows up the rhodium. Like, that was a badass shot, and
Good
like
shot.
throws the ship off, and like I see her kind of like smile, like, damn, that was cool. My expectation was actually like when she was gonna talk to him, she's gonna be like, hey, we could use someone like you to help us out. She's the marshal, right? For
the New Republic.
Yeah, she's a marshal for New Republic. I thought she was gonna recruit him.
If it wasn't for that, I think she would have.
Oh yeah, because he has the tie to the Imperials.
Yep, to the Empire.
The Empire.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, I honestly thought they were gonna do that. They're gonna like recruit him and do him, but I'm still happy they just let him go. They're like, hey, go live your life, dog.
Yeah, I mean that was. I mean, what other way could you ask? Now I thought his reaction was gonna be like, oh, it's too bad Migs died in that explosion. And if I was Migs, I'd be like, I swear to God, if you don't kill me, guys, I'll go work back in the field. I thought they were gonna like he was gonna think that they were gonna like kill him or something, instead of let him go. But he immediately would like assumed, he's like, I did good. Yeah. I get reward. Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
I think the biggest redeeming point, obviously they didn't see what went down with him shooting the officer, but Din could vouch for him at that point. But when Cara Dune saw him like take he didn't need to. No, he didn't need to take that shot. They escaped. They were good to go, but he took it. And he even tells Din, he's like, now I can sleep good at night. Mm-hmm. So it's like we knew he had ties, and we knew at the end of the day he did not like the Empire anymore and what they did. Like that was a big. That Operation Cinder was a big turning point. Like you see, if you guys haven't had a chance to play Battlefront 2, I have mixed feelings about the actual fucking multiplayer portion of the game.
It's fun.
There's a whole history to it, but if you can, it's hard to justify. But if you can somehow play that single player campaign, I highly recommend it. Especially, I mentioned this to Kyle before we started the show. During the conclusion, it's like the second episode of that single player campaign, you see what Luke Skywalker's been doing. And there's a lot of theories right now that Luke Skywalker might be the one to respond to that. There's two big fan theories right now.
I want Cal Kestis to show up.
One is Luke Skywalker will respond to that. And the other one, which I think he's going to come back, but I don't think it's going to be because of this, is Mace Windu.
Well, I think Mace Windu's we have to expect that Mace Windu may show up eventually someday. We got Boba Fett back. And I still have high hopes to see Ezra Bridger and Cal Kestis in shows or games, and to bring back the actor who did I can't remember his name at the moment, who did the face and everything.
Oh yeah, I know which actor you're talking about. He was in Gotham. He's a really great actor.
Yeah,
but I can't remember his name. Here, while you talk, I'll find that out right now.
Well, bringing him back and having him act as Cal Kestis would be incredible, and to have him a little older, to give him a little more grit. You know what I'm saying? It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
a little more jaded.
Actor for Jerome Gotham. His name is Cameron Monaghan. Yeah, Monaghan. Yeah, Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah,
so man, I really hope that they bring him back. That game was great. Like at this point, I think after seeing what happened in The Mandalorian, we can actually talk about it. So let's wrap up the conclusion of the episode.
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes. So
yeah, so we had the everything goes down, happy ending, things are good, and then we see. I'm telling you, dog, this is gonna be good. But we see Moff Gideon.
Yep.
We see that he's got a message waiting for him, and even the chick, I forgot her name. She's just like, she's freaking out. She's like, we got a message for you. We see Din, and he's just like, listen, you have something that belongs to me, and you don't know, like, how important it really is. You don't really know who he is, and I'm coming back to get him. And dude, you can tell me because you saw the episode, but Moff looks scared.
Yeah.
He legitimately looked concerned. He was kind of sitting there like, holy shit. Because every time we've seen him this season up until that point, he's looked calculated, evil. He's got a smirk on his face. He looks calm and confident. Like, he looked like he was shook, dude.
He's like, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you.
Yeah.
If you let my baby Yoda go.
Yeah.
But if you don't, I will look for you.
Oh, he's not letting him go.
I will find you.
I have a good feeling.
And I will kill you.
I have a feeling the season finale is gonna be. They're gonna go into that ship, dog. Some like serious fighting is gonna go down. Everybody listen to this right now. I've had an interesting ratio for fan theories. We explained it a long time ago in the episode, but I was right about fucking Nick Fury being a scroll based off of a piece of toast. But we already saw a lightsaber go against the Beskar spear, and we saw that the Beskar spear can withstand the lightsaber. I think we're gonna see a showdown between the Mandalorian and Moff Gideon, and it's gonna be Darksaber versus Beskar spear, dude. That's what I think is gonna happen in the season finale, dude. What do you think?
I've been expecting, maybe not in this season finale, but I'm expecting in the future that will happen. This spear is going to be important in fighting against the Darksaber, but I think even more importantly, that Darksaber is made of Beskar steel, and he will be collecting that steel. And he has a little baby Jedi with him who is also going to be raised in the way of the Mandalore.
Yeah.
So he has a little baby Yoda named Grogu who is being raised somewhat in the way of the Mandalore like he was as a foundling. And he will have a Beskar steel lightsaber, which is probably some of the coolest sounding shit for like if once he hits 500 years old, this little bastard's going to be completely unstoppable. He's got the highest midichlorian count since Yoda.
Somebody mentioned that theory where they think I don't know if they I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't know if they exist yet, but excuse me. They're saying that Grogu could be like the first. Actually, no, I think there was one that was the one that created the lightsaber. But this is gonna be what brings the Mandalorian Jedi's. Like we're going to see like. Grogu is going to be a Mandalorian Jedi.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be trained in the ways of the Mandalorian, and he's gonna be trained in the ways of the Force, obviously, and he's gonna be the like picture perfect. And I know you're saying he might get a lightsaber made out of Beskar. I think he's gonna wield the Darksaber. And
the Darksaber is made of Beskar.
Oh, I didn't know that, dog.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they foreshadowed that because he's like trying to steal it, and he's just like, not yet. So I think that's gonna happen. But let us know in the comments what you think's gonna go. That was a great episode. We have one episode left to this season, and I think that finale is gonna be bananas. I think this episode was good. I loved it, no complaints about it. But its pacing was definitely, even with all the action, it was a bit on the lower side. And I think they're bringing us down a bit because they're gonna ramp us up one more time right now, dude.
Are we going to get the little Yodi, or are we not gonna get the little Yodi? Find out next time on the Mandalorian podcast over here. Podcast Project Hindsight, Podcast Hindsight, Project Podcast.
We still have time, right?
We still have time. Right? We can do a little outro.
Okay, no. I thought you were wrapping up. I was like, we still have time.
No, we still have time.
We have a bonus episode. We're going to talk about all the Marvel news that just got dropped. But the thing is, we don't even have to go in depth about all of these. I just want to like mention a few that I'm personally excited for. But in addition to all the Marvel news, we got a shit ton of news dropping about Star Wars stuff. And God, this does a shitty job highlighting like all this stuff. But we had, and I'm not surprised at all, we can't just bring Ahsoka in and do one episode of that. We have an Ahsoka series that's been announced. We have Rangers of the New Republic. We have Star Wars The Bad Batch. Mm-hmm. We have the Star Wars Andor series. Hayden Christensen's returning as Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan Kenobi prequel. There's a droid story. I feel like that's gonna be more of a kids show. I'm not bummed about it. I think it's gonna be fun. Star Wars Vision, which is apparently an anime.
I can't wait for that one. That one specifically.
Yeah, and then I gotta say now there is a Lando series coming out. And I know a lot of people are hyped, but hear me out. If Donald Glover does not come back as Lando Calrissian, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it.
I think
if Donald Glover, he has to come back.
Well, they would have to. They'd have to.
Yeah, because if we're still using the same lore, the same connection, everything, they have to come back right there. But Kyle, really quick, we can each pick one since we have a quick moment. Which out of all the new announcements are you most excited for?
Actually, I'm super excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which got announced as well. The little sand effect. Woo, very cool. We know that Hayden Christensen's coming back. I'm so excited for that. I am a huge fan of both Obi-Wan and Anakin. They're both super great characters. We kind of have them as like main lore. I'm super excited about that, but all together, I think Visions is going to be some of my favorite things. Seeing like some more, because there's a little bit of Star Wars anime stuff, but seeing some more by some of the greatest anime creators like you can get. It's going to be so much fun, guys. Check it all out.
I'm curious.
Not sponsored.
I'm curious. Yeah. We are not sponsored. I'm really curious where they're going to go with that, with Visions now. I want to say I'm excited for Ahsoka, but what I'm truly excited for, I forgot to mention 2 movies got announced. One is Untitled, and Taika Waititi is in charge of it. And man, we saw what Taika did when he had his episode of Mandalorian. But the other one that I'm fucking super hyped for this is Rogue Squadron.
Isn't it?
Patty Jenkins is the one that's directing it. She's the director for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And man, man, this is taking me back, dog. I played a lot of Rogue Squadron on N64. I remember the Rogue Squadron on GameCube, dog. Like, Rogue Squadron was one of my favorite games. I didn't play the new fighter game. I've heard a lot of things where it's good, but it's really short. They didn't do a lot with it. It's great if you have like VR and shit for the tracking, but I want more Rogue Squadron. I want more fighter shit focus on Rogue Squadron, and the fact that they're gonna make a movie revolving around this with such a high profile director, like, it's gonna be good, dog. It's gonna be good. And I don't know, Disney, I think Disney's learning from their mistakes with the previous Star Wars, because we didn't see anything new announced, like, number wise. No episode.
Right.
What would we be on, like 10, 11, and 12?
I don't think that they would go that direction anymore. I'm kind of worried about that as well. But yeah, I mean, we have a really good lineup, dude. A really good, a lot of good stuff coming. And hell, they've had all of 2020 to plan this stuff. Like, everybody's stuck at home, just getting creative. You know, I'll be the first person to say it as soon as Disneyland is safe to go back to, not just when it opens. I'll be there.
Safe.
And my wallet will be empty.
Yeah. I haven't been to Disneyland in ages, dog, but once like vaccines are out and shit's like
I'm not even worried about it, man. Let it just wait. Everybody hold off. Everybody hold off. Jesus Christ, stay home for a little while. Let's end this.
Yeah,
thing,
once things settle down with it, dude. I didn't get to go to Star Wars. What is it called? Galaxy's Edge. I didn't get to go to Galaxy's Edge when it opened. Half of the stuff wasn't even ready yet when they opened it up. So now they've got plenty of time. Like, we're gonna get a really good Galaxy's Edge experience, and look at all the Star Wars stuff that's building up. Yeah, fucking lucky ass bastard. So it's gonna be good. They're also opening Avengers Campus in California Adventure, but we don't want to talk about that right now.
We can talk about that in the next podcast.
Y'all are getting a bonus episode. This obviously, as you're watching, this is our usual time, usual drop, usual release. Do we have a time when we're gonna upload that bonus episode?
We're hoping to do this one at 6 and that one as soon as possible.
Yeah, so we should keep an eye out. If not during the weekend, I'd say probably like by the beginning of next week, we're gonna have that out there for you. We always promise one episode a week, but sometimes there's a lot of juicy nerd news going on that we got to do a second one, and that's what's going to happen in the next episode. But yeah, thank you, everyone. Let us know, out of all of the new Disney Star Wars drops that just happened, let us know in the comments which one you are most excited about. Let us know what you think is going to happen in the grand finale. It's been a great fucking ride for Mandalorian, and y'all better buckle up because they already announced we're not going to see the next season until Christmas of next year. I think that's the release schedule. End of year, every year, same time last year. But yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you're excited for. If we spit out some wrong information, let us know what's right. We're always looking to, we're not those nerds where we're just going to be like, we're right, we know everything. No, we want to learn, dude.
That's what we're here to do. We're here to reflect. We're here to look back, and we're here to learn from what we've already learned. That's why we're called Project Hindsight.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. Let's end this with some words of wisdom.
Let it be, brother. Let it be.
Sure, we'll quote the Beatles. Let it be. Let it be.
Let it be.
No, stop singing. We don't want to get claimed. I don't want to get claimed.
Don't let it be. All right, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Love you.